lie awake every day, reminding yourself that you have to wait multiple months for the Magnus protocol to come out. And this video is for you, because we're looking at old Magnus Archives theories from way back when we didn't know shit. Because I've been basically, like, I've listened to the show before it was finished, but like I never was fully part of the fandom because I love fandom culture. I'm so fascinated by fandom culture. I love looking that shit up. I'm very curious to see what kind of common theories were. Putting me on a spindly chair was not a good idea for this video. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I'm going to just move around the entire time. Also, look at the board's still here. I still need to update it because I have seen the pilot. Probably planning on doing like a recap of this board when the first season of the Magnus Protocol is fully out, and then for every season. Maybe, if that is something people enjoy. So, the first theory. This is from the 14th of November 2020. I think the Magnus Archive is going to end with a web ritual. The web has been manipulating everything since the very beginning of the show. Every major plot point that has happened was engineered by the web. Martin has displayed strong web affiliation potential. I'm not sure. This is an interesting one. We'll get to Web Martin. Basically, the web has always been a part of the story, or even when the other fears are the center focus, because the web exists to manipulate. It stands to reason that it has been orchestrating the entire plot. I bet the tape recorders are part of the web, and it uses them to keep track of all the pieces of... Ooh! This is so good! They got it right. I love seeing these older theories and then getting it right on. Like, I bet the tape recorders are part of the web, and it uses them to keep track of all the pieces it has in play, like every evil multi-dimensional chess. Which I will say, there is one thing that kind of annoys me. I've seen people say that the whole plot twist of the tape recorders being part of the web doesn't make sense. I always thought it made sense. And I'm glad to see that people were able to find it out before the actual twist. That does prove that it does make some kind of sense. Having John be marked by every fear and aligned with the alliance, John was able to effectively end the world, and uncomfortable parallel can be drawn on how currently John and Martin have to pass through through or be marked every fear in the eye world. Considering Martin's relation to the web and Annabelle Cain's apparent fixation of him, it would make sense for the web to be grooming Martin from a ritual. Ooh, that's an interesting. The idea that Martin was supposed to be Annabelle Cain's John. The thing is with Annabelle is she's a character I can never fully get behind. Like, I like her. I enjoy Annabelle Cain as a character. I just never fully... I need to do a deep dive on her character a little bit more and try and figure out what the hell her motivation is. Because that's one I never really was able to figure out. Because because she does want to use... That's the thing, you don't know how much of things she has planned, and that's kind of the point, is the fact that you don't know. Did she intend for Martin to kill John? Like, did she know that that's how that was going to go? I don't know. But, I mean, this is, a Whip Martin theory. If the cat has entered the room, if he destroys anything, I'm going to lose my shit. Because he is a little bit of a rascal. Oh. No. We are not doing this today. We're going to try this with the cat. The next theory, the 28th of August, 2018. I really tried finding older theories. Some of them are really hard to find because there used to be a Magnus Archives forum that doesn't exist anymore, which is where, like, the original fandom resided, I'm pretty sure. So maybe I can put in the effort of trying to find that. But as far as I'm aware, that's not accessible. So we know there may be new emergence of a power on the horizon. I was going back through old episodes recently and happened upon Binary. At the end of the episode, John basically confirms that he's never seen anything like that one. Could it be that the internet is what's spawning the new power? We know that the flesh only came about when new technology created a new fear. Maybe this one is the same thing. The fear that we're all too connected, maybe, or that machines are taking over our humanity. Biggest problem I see with this theory is that it doesn't quite mesh with Deckard's statement in briefing room, as that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the internet. Magnus Protocol! No, this is a really interesting one because they are true in the fact that, like, the extinction does have a lot to do with technology. So I do like the fact that they figured it out, but just the wrong statement because binary is in fact a spiral statement, which I always assumed it was extinction as well. So you're allowed to leave, or you stay on my lap. Because you're not allowed on the tape, no. Mm. Oh, I saw a name. I saw a name. I read it. This is 19th of January 2021. They actually put the episode. So 190. Here's how Agnes Montague can still win and why the desolation is more important to season 5 than we thought. Yeah, this is how Agnes Montague can still win. We only got 10 episodes, but she can still win, guys. Celia, one of the What the Girlfriends. How do you say? Please comment. How do you pronounce Melanie and Georgie's ship name? Is it What the GFs? Just WTGFs? Or What the Girlfriends. Celia, one of the What the Girlfriends, Cole, is voiced by the lovely Lorianne Davis, who has appeared in the show before, way back in 100, as one of the statement givers named Leonie, who talked to Martin about seeing a burning ghost. Celia has had her name stolen, but did you notice Martin reacting kind of strangely to her introducing herself as Celia? Great. Oh, the way he did. Seems to me Leonie and Celia might be the same person. Wow, what a crazy thought. What a crazy thought. Where is she? Where is she? Can you... You can just about see her. There she is. And that Helen showed up and tried to eat Celia out of all the members of the group. Not the one who got pulled out of the spiral maze, the one that lost her name, which seems more likely stranger territory. If we assume her motivation is to remove anything that could potentially help John reverse the change, why not grab Georgie or Melanie? Why Celia? Somehow Celia's a threat. Leonie. Leonie's story, given to Martin 100, is pretty detail light. Mid 2016, she wakes up in her night. She wakes up in the night in her flat for several nights, smelling something burning. Eventually, she sees a ghost of a young woman on fire. The ghost reaches out and burns a few of her arm hairs, and then Leonie moves, and that's that. Seems desolation aligned, and my clown self wants to badly think that ghost might somehow be Agnes, but that's slightly off topic. I'll get back to that. I fully believe that is Agnes. I fully believe. Genuinely, when I first heard that statement, I assumed it was Agnes. This is like Gertrude and the Desolation. I've wondered in the past if Leonie's 100 account was significant, mostly because it seems more appropriate for Martin to get the web one. But I also listened to 167 again. Recently, I've been pondering that too. Is frankly a weird amount of evidence connecting Gertrude to the Desolation. Oh, fully. As the self-appointed biggest Gertrude Robinson stan, she is way more aligned with Desolation than she is the Eye. She's not an Eye avatar, first of all. She might be the Archivist, but she's not an Eye avatar. she could be a Desolation Avatar if she chose one, which, I mean, a big part of her character is that she never chose an alignment, but she herself even acknowledges that, yeah, the Desolation would probably like her. Leitner comments on her pyromaniac streak and says, "Remind me to tell you about Agnes sometime." I think about that line a lot. If she survived longer, we could have gotten more on Agnes. Also, just the way she sounds so fond of Agnes in that line, like, "Oh, remind me to tell you about Agnes sometime." Those bitches had something. They maybe never like they met once, but they cared for each other secretly. I fully believed it. The only reason those two never met up actively is because they were both too stubborn to follow the plan the web set for them. Like, they both were like, fuck, the web wanted us to be connected, so we are going to refuse to talk to each other. I'm fascinated by them. I wish we got more. I wish we got more so badly. Can you tell that I like Gertrude Robinson and Agnes Montague? Now, I don't think Ella was the problem, but more that Gertrude needed to be sure she could expunge an affection. She needed to completely get rid of the web, and he only trusted Agnes to do it. Yeah, the desolation and the web somehow are very natural opposites. Like, they are very much opposed to each other in like most of the story. There's a lot of history between the desolation and the web. Agnes, I love how this. I did not read this beforehand. Like, for me, this feels like obvious. Like, yeah, this is basic Agnes Montague theory stuff. If you spend way too much on Agnes Montague theories and shit, then you just know. You just know all this already. Feel fighting left reality scared like the mother of puppets was. I'm just kind of scanning over this because it's a long post. Is it an accident that Hilltop Road, one of the biggest unexplained mysteries of the show, strongly tied to both the web and the desolation? I highly doubt it. What narrative purpose does 167 serve? Why tell the story of Archivist using desolation power to chase a spider out of her archives in season 5? I feel like that was just wrapping up Gertrude as a character. Like, that was the narrative purpose. It's the same narrative purpose as like the original Elias statement or the Rosie statement. It's just like, it's like tying up a loose end because it's the end of the series, and these are probably questions that people want to know. Gertrude's little retrospective didn't need to be there. As far as plot goes, on the surface level at least, it's fun, it's interesting, it's timeline breaking. But it's interesting, it's timeline breaking. I mean, it is. It is. I actually don't know if I still have that video somewhere. I remember there being a theory that I saw once that Gertrude is actually on it. Like, the tapes we get of Gertrude are actually on a different timeline than the ones, like the statements that John is reading. Because there's like a lot of inconsistencies between Gertrude's storyline and the one that, like, we get fed through, like, the archive and John and stuff. So, like, it's the theory that she's actually, like, the tapes that we find with Gertrude are from an alternate universe. But it doesn't actually answer all that much. So why is it there? Johnny could have easily have made a normal statement in season 4 or something. But it's here. What did the web get out of binding the archivist to the Desolation's Messiah? And why was there never really addressed? Why do we keep getting told that the Desolation is very effective against the web? Why bring up Agnes up again one just to shatter her timeline? I don't think John. So the thing is with the Agnes timeline, if you don't know, Agnes and Gertrude met up to kill Emma Harvey. And that explicitly happens after the Great Twisting, where Gertrude killed Michael. The thing is the Great Twisting happened after on the timeline happened after Agnes's death, which I think is 2006. I could be wrong. So the thing is, both of these in this episode itself, it doesn't really state any dates. It's just like this happened and then this happened, and Johnny probably did not check what date Michael's death happened and at what date Agnes's death happened. Agnes could not have been alive to kill Emma Harvey. It's just a timeline inconsistency. Oh, and John's spider lighter. Sure, it's going to be it's got the branding, and sure, addiction is a web thing, but it's a lighter. It's fire. Maybe here's the difference. Maybe there's a different significance to that. I never realized that the lighter is a lighter because smoking is an addiction. Huh. I don't know where to find the dates on Tumblr post. So I don't have the date for this one, which I'm really sad about. But it's at least before episode 111. Because this is someone trying to figure out all the entities. This is really cool. I love this. This is very cool. This is someone trying to figure out the entities and all the connections. The 13 outer cults. So I've been trying to figure out how the various powers in these episodes might be sorted into 13 corridors mentioned in Mag 35. What is How did we get to 13? Wait, I actually don't know what they're talking about. Huh. So number 1, Mr. Pitch, Dark Water, Rainer. His darkness is always portrayed as like ink, and whenever it comes through, the character always mentions still water. The lightless flame, the earth, claustrophobia, the Corvnera, Lost John's Underground, the vast, Exceltiora, the Fairchilds, the stranger, the unknowing, the spiral, Michael Esmerianzas. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mr. Spider, Raymond, Annabelle might also represent the hunter. Huh. Interesting. Alone, the Lucas family, Femin Meat, Cannibal Meat episodes, the Piper War, Savagery, the Hive, Pestilence, Amherst, Prentice, The End, and The Beholder. I love seeing people trying to figure because they're fairly spot on. I remember people had already come around to the Four Horsemen of the and the elemental ideas, but I had seen anyone lay out all 13 yet. So here we go. So we've been tossing things around. Currently, it looks like Spider and the Hunter exist as separate entities, bringing the total to 14. This is so cool. I love this. I'm fascinated by the fact they conflated the web and the hunt together, though. Because when it comes to like the entities that I struggle pulling apart the most, it is the hunt, the slaughter, and the desolation. Mostly the slaughter and the desolation. Found it. Can you tell I like. This is not. This is just what I keep finding, okay? This is not my doing. Agnes Montague is the fucking tapes. Need to yell it since it's in all caps. The choices for the tapes that mysteriously came with the package that held the ritual statement both mention fire and in the archives, the one we hear in 162. Oh yeah, almost every tape we get in like the first 2 episodes of season 5 mention fire because you got the birthday one. Tim's like, a source of ignition in the archives. In Mag 118, in Mag 180, right before Lightner gets killed, Silence Nightmare. I'm not sure you would have liked him, He's paranoid enough, but I don't think he's got the stomach for it. Leitner talks to the tapes like someone specific, and most people I did assume he's talking to Gertrude, but he could also be talking to Agnes, saying, "Oh, you wouldn't have liked him, aka the new archivist, like you did." Gertrude, number 3, relates to this. Remind me to tell you about Agnes sometime. This is such a loose end. Remind me to tell you about Agnes sometime. Fucking dies. We never get to hear it. Served from the last. Here's how Agnes Montague can still win post. The web is absolutely going to be the catalyst in season 5. Update. It is the catalyst in season 5. 194 Rise Up. This is made during, like, when Mag 194 was releasing. People are still trying to find reasons how she could still win. And Agnes Montague has been affected and tied up in the web since birth. She's burned spiderwebs in Jack Barnabas's home. She was anchored to Gertrude through the web's ties for years, as well as living in a aforementioned Hilltop Road house. So we are going to Hilltop Road next episode. Hilltop Road is mainly desolation and web marks. You know who else desolation and web we've marked? It's Agnes. September 2020. Yeah, September 2020. Some thoughts on Web Martin and why I don't think it's going to be a thing. This one is really long. Some thoughts on Web Martin, why I don't think it's going to be a thing. Fan theorists about Web Martin have recently become quite popular, especially in the light of developments in season 5. Ultimately, while I think these mine an interesting vein in the text, and also have also resulted in some excellent art, I don't think any of them actually going to happen. Consider 3 main versions of Web Martin theory. Run through in broad strokes, evidence for each, and then explain relatively why I don't think they're plausible. Starting with the most popular. Martin is an avatar of the web and has been manipulating events, and while ultimately betrayed John in the line with the web's goals. As far as I can tell, this is the most popular version of Web Modern Theory. I do not like it. I do not. I don't think it. Obviously, I am tainted by knowing how it ends. I don't think Martin is that kind of person. He's manipulated. Like, it's. Martin's manipulativeness comes as a trauma response, which I guess you could still call that manipulation, but it's usually like a fear response. It's fun. I don't think we can call that like a master manipulator. He's just, yeah. As far as I can tell, the most character, notably Peter Lucas, as well as this tendency towards comfort with scheming. And his fondness for spiders and spider imagery, frequently lampshaded, as in Mag 100. Yeah. Proponents of this theory also argue that this kind of twist in foreshadowing by Mag 160, where it revealed that Jonah Elias was manipulating John the entire time. I feel like that's obvious though. Like, we knew he was manipulating John. Like, he was planning to do something. We just didn't know what. Like, John manipulating, like, Elias manipulating John feels so much more obvious because he's evil. Martin is himself being manipulated by the weapon will ultimately be used as a tool to hurt John or otherwise, forcing him to concede the web's plans. Evidence for this is mainly Martin's interaction with Annabelle Kane in Mag 166. When she attempts to undercut Martin's faith in John, questioning whether John really needs him, being as powerful as he is, the further development in Mag 172, when Martin wanders off in the web domain and refuses John's offer to look in his head and see if he's being manipulated. Sure, but you'd be looking through the details of everything that's ever crossed my mind. I don't want that. You know I don't want that. That's just, like, basic boundaries, though. Like, I don't think you would want your boyfriend be able to just look into your brain. Which is read as itself as a result of manipulation by Annabelle. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's just privacy. Also, heard of 1-2 versions of the theory that suggest the web manipulating Martin and John into falling in love, which eventually served the web's ends. The upshot. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the idea that they were manipulated to fall in love. Martin isn't after of the web. He has been manipulating events, but he's ultimately benevolent and wants to help John undo the apocalypse. This has a lot same evidence as version 1 on the web Martin theory, but with more emphasis on Martin's agency, as well as treating his caring nature as merely something of that is a facade for his manipulation. I feel like the thing is, web Martin is sort of canon, but it's also not. These are very, very long words. I'm certainly not gonna read them all. This is a good one though. The thing is, I've already been reacting to why I don't like it. So I know a lot of these are again going to be Agnes Montague ones, because it's me.
This is my new prediction for how TMA is gonna end.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Can't get enough of this, can ya? Man, don't you be anything better to do?
If it works, it works.
Burn.
Why didn't they just light it up? That's light up those tapes
right there. I'm gonna shut the hell up now.
Please just light up the tapes.
POV, you're me grasping at Agnes Montague straws because you really don't want a fourth wall ending. And that happens.
Fourth wall ending. We didn't have a fourth wall ending, so you're at least saved from that.
Hello, I'm in the laundry room of my residence hall, so I have to have a mask on, but here are my top theories about how Season 5 of the Magnus archive is going to end. Straight off the bat, all of the tapes that are included with Jonah's letter involve burning down the archives in some way, and Jonah describes John as the archive, so John is going to burn. Frankly, I think that either John and Martin are going to die, or just John, because I don't see Martin being the only one dying. And it would make sense with 170 and him saying, "I'm not alone anymore," and would make it way more tragic. Also, not sure how exactly this is going to play in, but I really like the theory that Hilltop Road is a portal to our world, and the podcast is going to end with all of the tapes being sent over here so that we can prevent the apocalypse, because they're not going to be able to undo it.
You're so close! You're so close! You're right! I mean, maybe that's the fourth wall ending that they meant. That the previous person meant. The idea that the tapes are being sent to our, which makes sense because we're listening to the podcast. That is an interpretation you could have of the ending, since you could just ignore Magnus Protocol. To be fair, technically speaking, we have no proof that that is the universe the tapes went to yet. John is going to. I feel like John dying makes a lot of sense because of like the whole sacrifice thing. You gotta have like a big price to pay. It's a tragedy. Of course, the main character is going to die.
Here's how Agnes Montague can still win, part 1. So the first thing I want to talk about is Agnes Montague's death. So a lot of people, that when I mention Agnes Montague on my page, they'll come in the comments and they'll be like, "I thought Agnes was dead." In canon, with the timeline that we have, we know that Gertrude's timeline is a little bit weird and may not be super canon compliant in a lot of ways.
Oh.
But what we have would say that Agnes isn't dead. So Agnes is, in her police report, she is reported dead of a suicide in 2006. Michael Shelley gets spiralized sometime between 2009
This is what I just said.
Agnes is recruited by Gertrude Robinson to kill Emma Harvey after Michael Shelley gets spiralized.
Yeah.
She finds out about Harvey in the web, etc., etc. So clearly if Agnes had full died in 2006, she wouldn't have been able to come back sometime past 2009 to help Gertrude. So there are these theories that Agnes went through some kind of avatar death and is now back in some way as a ghost or bound in some kind of vessel like the web lighter.
See, this is, again, one that mentions the web lighter.
This is the same video on my hot potato apocalypse theory. There was a statement of a woman who went through a Terran reality at Hilltop Road. We also know that prior to the apocalypse, the entities existed outside our reality. What if the web was bouncing the apocalypse between infinite universes?
You got it right! Good job! I love the name hot potato.
Pre-apocalypse, the web does
hot
its thing,
potato
the
theory.
doing its thing, manipulation. Apocalypse, very potent fear, but reality is broken, time is fake, people are being born, but the end is still taking them, it's not sustainable. But if you pass the burden between infinite realities, then it's more sustainable. Then you can move into post-apocalypse. It's almost the same as pre-apocalypse, but if the world finds out that there was an elaborate plot to end the world, and it could happen again, that's the web's whole thing. Then the web gets to feed off all that fear that it could be manipulated to
I don't think that that's
again.
particularly the web's, like, that's not particularly the web's motivation, but they got it, like, down. Like, that's it. Like, you got it. Because it's not a theory, but I think it's funny.
Cannot win!
Reminder. Agnes Montague soldiers. We can still win, okay? We can still win. The Magnus protocol's coming out, and I swear to God, that Agnes Montague is still going to win, okay? I tell you. I promised you, even. This is how Agnes Montague can still win. Trust me, this is how Agnes Montague can still win. I asked lovely people on Tumblr what their old theories were and what theories they saw back then. I didn't get much of a response, but we're gonna read them. I thought we'd get more Web Martin, but it never happened. I think that was a big one. That was definitely a big one. Trust me. For a hot second in season 1, I thought it was going to be the Battle of the Eyes, open cult and the Eyes closed cult. It wasn't. I wasn't proud of that one. I love that. I love that. Schwarzwald cousins. Schwarzwald. I'm sorry, German viewers. Jerry Key is canonically descendant from one of Albrecht von Glosen's kids. That is true. And there was a theory that Martin might be descendant from another Martin Key Blackwood. Was proposed. Part of this was the fact that Albrecht's kids seem to have been born after spooky eye experience, so the idea was that both Jerry and Martin might have some hereditary spooky powers. It never gained much traction as a theory, but I always thought it'd be cool. I've never heard this one. I love it. I love the attempt at trying to reason trying to figure out what the K in Martin K. Blackwood is. And then just be like, yeah, it can be Key. And with that, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, leave a like and maybe a comment. If you want more of this, maybe if people send in their old silly little theories or misconceptions about Magnus Archives, we could do another one or something like that. I also want to make other videos, because anyone who kind of knows me, I really love Persona, so I probably will also talk about Persona franchise, which those two fandoms do not mix, but I'm going to try. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and goodbye.